I called Hoots. I said, Hoots, how do you pronounce this guy's name? He said, we just call him Luca. So if they call him Luca, we're just going to call him Luca. He comes from the United States that are playing last season in the SC Derby in the Adriatic League, which is a good league. So what can you kind of tell us about his game?
Adriatic League guys have had a really big impact on college basketball the last couple of years. Tomislav Ivicic came from the Adriatic League. I think he was like a 7-4 guy for in the Adriatic League last year. Comes over to Illinois and was like 13-7. So like the Adriatic League's a high level league. Luca's an interesting player, man. Like I think we have to start with the jumper, right? He shot 43% on catch and shoot threes. But like I feel like all European guards, I hate to put them all in this bucket, but they're all just so comfortable like playing off the bounce, using their big shoulders, getting like to the middle of the floor and hitting pull-ups. And he loves those sidestep, step back threes. So he can create his own offense as well. The thing though, I think that when I was kind of going through his tape, I kind of like some of the playmaking. I think he might have a bigger on-ball role than some people might initially project. Because you look at him and you're like, 6'5" shooter, like he's going to play off the ball. Some of his touch and his playmaking and his ability to make plays with his left hand or his right hand, the lobs that he throws, the ability to manipulate defenses and kind of like hold that low man and then find an open shooter in the opposite corner. There's some good stuff there. So I think that the concerns about his athleticism are fair. I don't think he's going to be a very good defender. That's just kind of my feel. Yeah. But the shooting and the playmaking from him, I think will really help the team. I'm curious to see how you kind of feel about it because I kind of look at it and I go, is this a point guard by committee thing where Kyan takes 150 reps at pick and roll? Luca can handle 150 reps or so in pick and rolls, and they can kind of like mismatch it that way and be a little bit more, unpredictable, right? Last year, it felt like it was either an Elliott Cadeau pick and roll, RJ trying to play one-on-one, Ian Jackson playing one-on-one, and maybe when Seth touches it, he gets to go make one-on-one happen too. I think this year you might be able to see a few more guys that can actually make reads out of pick and rolls, and Luca's going to be a huge part of that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's a bigger guard, and the things I've seen with European guards that are good, I mean, he averaged 15 points in Europe. Like, that's no small feat. Like, guys that average those amount of points are all EuroLeague guys when they play in the EuroLeague. So he's got game. I just wonder, is he going to be the primary burner? I think that all gets figured out, right? The secret scrimmages and the pickup games and things of that nature. I think they're going to have to figure it out. And I don't know if Carolina will start off how they're going to finish with who's handling the ball, who's going to play, who's going to be the main guy. So I'm excited. I think he does probably slide into the starting lineup just because he's a pro, right? He's a pro.
I'm with you.
And so it'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of in the dark of what they're going to see, what they see him as, but I know he's a valued kind of part of who they brought in and what they want to do. So it's going to be fun to watch. He's a kind of a mystery for me. What role will he have? Obviously, he can shoot the rock, but being a pro, playing professional for so long, is he kind of going to be able to kind of calm things down and take a lead role and just distributing the ball? We're concerned about turnovers, so that may be a guy that they can kind of put it in his hand and not have Seth or Kyan handle the ball, majority of the time. So we'll see.
He's an interesting player too. Like I'm curious, like how often he gets to the rim. Like, is he going to be somebody that can actually break you down, get 2 feet to the paint, draw that second defender, and make plays out of it? Like, that's just it's fascinating. It's fascinating, and I kind of like the ecosystem that they have set up defensively because I don't think he's going to have to guard the best guard. I think that's Seth's job. I don't think he's going to have to guard the second best guard either. So I think you can kind of cover up some of his defensive flaws. But if you're doing that, you better bring it offensively, right? Like if you're saving some of that energy, like we need you to have some juice on that other end.
Yeah, we're seeing, 40% three-point shooter. So we're seeing size and shooting, which is the key to success these days. And that kind of leads me into the next highly rated recruit. The highest rated recruit in the 2025 class was Caleb Wilson that they have. He's the 8th ranked player in the class, according to 27 Sports. He just got the big-time New Balance deal. I don't know how that's going to go over with, MJ. He's probably going to have to wear those New Balances outside of the Dean Dome. We can talk about that later. Me and Harrison's wear Nike shoes. We get phone calls. But what should they expect from him? I heard good things about him this summer, and obviously his athleticism is just otherworldly. So what do you think we can expect from this kid this season?
insane athlete.
Mhm.
Just 7-foot wingspan, maybe even a little bit longer than that. We'll see kind of how his body progresses. I think defensively, he's going to really help this team. Covers up ground, can switch onto the perimeter. I think you could see him as a secondary rim protector, add a lot more pop. I think just the idea of Visar and Wilson on that back line, those two dudes are really athletic, really long, and they can run. So you think about what this transition offense could look like with those two guys, kind of like gazelles, just flying up the floor, being big targets and going to flush that thing. Like, that's exciting. I think there's some concerns maybe about like, what does he do in half court settings offensively that can really help you? Like, some of their questions about his jumper, but I like his playmaking. I think he's a guy that I think he sees the floor really well. I think his IQ is really high. That feel as a secondary playmaker, I think helps him because, I mean, when I watched Carolina last year, like, what big was on the floor that you trusted that when he had the ball in his hands that he could make plays for others? I don't think Carolina had that. And it felt like that's why they had to shift to so much like ISO ball because they just couldn't really run anything because their bigs couldn't really make plays. They didn't trust them to do anything other than, catch the ball and make a layup, right? Stuff like that. So, like, I think Wilson's secondary playmaking, especially in transition, but even at times in the half court, I think they'll help this team. I don't think he's a star, and maybe I'm wrong on that. I think he's going to be best utilized as a high impact two-way role player. And guess what? Like, you can make the NBA that way. Like, we just saw that in the lottery pick. Like, Carter Bryant, like, it was an awesome two-way role player for Arizona, and he's number 11 pick in the draft. So he doesn't need to be a star for Carolina to be really good and for him to kind of achieve his professional goals.
Yeah, and speaking of two-way role players, I kind of had a similar role. I was a lottery pick as well. That's the thing. I think between him and Visar, personally, I think the goal should be defensive player of the year. If you focus on that end, I think you're first of all going to be really good, and then secondly, that matters, man. Like, I think I was the last defensive player of the year, and Coach Williams always, when I go back to Carolina, I'm like, wow, I'm on the wall. Whoa, like, I'm still there. And Coach was like, look, we've never had a defensive player of the year. We got to keep you on there. Like, we got to value defense a little bit. So I think the goal for them should be defensive player of the year, at least just for them to think about, because I think it's very possible Visar, him, if they take on that mold and they take on that gold, I think this team would be really good. And I think it's in either of those guys' hands. So I am interested to see his role this year. I don't know what he will become, but I've seen clips online, the YouTubes and him threes and step backs and the playmaking I saw as well, the dimes and stuff. So I'm excited to see his role, what they carve out for him. But he's also good enough where they're just going to roll the ball out, I'm sure, and say, look, do your thing.
Yeah, it feels like he could athlete his way to 8 to 10 points a game. Like, it just run the floor hard, get in transition, make your free throws. Maybe you're in the dunker spot. Visar sets a ball screen. It's 4-on-3, and you're the lob threat there from the dunker spot, like flying in from that short corner. 8 to 10 is not that hard for me to get there. Then you make a three. Then you make one drive that works, and suddenly you're at 13, 14 points a night. It's not that hard, I don't think.
If he rebounds well, he defends his position well, he gets on the perimeter sometimes and guards a guy, and he can knock down threes at a mid-30 clip, we won't see him long. I'll tell you that. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to move on next to Derek Dixon, who savviness, one of my favorite kind of recruits. Like, I think he's going to carve out a bigger role than people expect as well. Out of Gonzaga College High School in DC. Team takeover, EYBL. We know all the guys drafted from EYBL, so he's battle tested. 4-star, 45th ranked in the class. What do you see his role being for the Tar Heels that are worried about turnovers?
They are worried about turnovers. Yeah. I think there's a real, like, who's our number one guard off the bench type of battle coming. I think Dixon's the guy for me that I think will emerge from that mix. I think he beats out Isaiah Dennis. I think he's more consistent than Jaden Young. I think he's a little bit different than Jonathan Powell. He seems like the guy that seems the most likely to step in as like that fourth guard. And that's a really important role. Like, that's, Denzel Aberdeen, to bring it back to Florida. Denzel Aberdeen was a really nice player for Florida last year as that fourth guard. Dixon is just like, he just checks off a ton of boxes. He can pass, he can shoot, hits his pull-ups, makes his free throws. I think he was 91% from the free throw line last year. Obviously played a really tough schedule in the EYBL, but he also was at Gonzaga too. It's also an awesome high school basketball schedule. So, like, he just checks off so many boxes as that pure combo guard. He played off the ball a lot at Gonzaga last year. So I don't think anybody should be like expecting him to be like, hey, he's our real traditional initiator point guard. But he's, again, like it feels like Carolina has like 7 combo guards on this roster. He's like the 4th one. And I think you can trust him to make open threes, to make right decisions with the ball in his hands. He's a good defender. And, you know, I think that he can make reads and pick and rolls as well. Like he's very competent in that. And I mean, as you know, with freshmen, it feels like it's just the little things that will impact how long you stay on the floor. And if you're making open shots and playing defense the right way and understanding the scouting report, that's usually a really good way to find minutes early.
Yeah, he shot 39% at EYBL, 91% free throw shooter. He has a game that won't hurt you, so I can see him getting good minutes this year. I'm watching film. I'm kind of just, researching this, kind of trying to see how he plays. Excuse me. I got on my notes, solid AF. You could, whatever you want to think that means, that's what he is to me. So I'm excited about him.
Connector, right? He's just a connector. He makes guys better. And like there were times where I was like watching him, it's like, oh, is he even on the floor? Like there'd be multiple possessions where he's just not really like that impactful. And then boom, boom, boom. It's a 3. It's a good pass in transition. It's a defensive steal, gets out in transition, finds an open shooter for another bucket. And just like you kind of feel him at all times, like finding a way to make an impact on the game in multiple different ways. These are like the type of freshmen that I think you almost like every good team needs to have. And they're the type of freshmen that I think outplay their recruiting rankings earlier. Maybe they don't have like that sky high ceiling, and we're obsessed with ceiling, right? And in recruiting rankings, right? Like that's the goal. That's the job. But someone like Dixon, who maybe doesn't have like that, like super, super high ceiling, can still help you really quickly just with his high feel and just his way to impact winning in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. In a 4-year career, good college career could be pretty lucrative. So,
oh yeah,
I don't think people are concerned as much as they used to. Next, we're going to go Isaiah Dennis, another 4-star who was ranked, 53rd in the 2025 class, according to 24/7 Sports. I watched him play. Ooh, I love his game. I don't think people are talking about him and what he could become. Now, maybe this year it's going to be a little tough, but he's got the handles, he's got the length, he shoots, he's got the confidence in his game. Where do you see him this year and even beyond? Let's just talk about this year and beyond.
He's got some stuff to it, man.
Yeah.
He popped for me too. Like he just like the jumper looks clean. He's big. He's 6'5". I think right now he's like a 2. And I wonder if he needs to pack on like 30 pounds to get to be a 3, like kind of a true wing. And I wonder if what that changes for his game a little bit, because you're right. Like just the wiggle and the ability, like he rises over. He doesn't even see contests sometimes as well. He just like, I mean, if it's a smaller guard, like he's just going over you, and it just looks so clean and projectable moving forward. So yeah, I don't think you could pencil him in for a huge role right away. But again, there's opportunity here. There's not a lot of proven, no doubt dudes in this backcourt. There's opportunity for him to pass up Dixon or pass up Jaden Young and be a role player off the bench for this group. But he's kind of like one of those like wait and see guys. Like, hey, could you buy into development? Could you put on 20, 25 pounds of pure muscle? Because if you do, and we know that Seth is gone next year, and we know that Luca, like we'll see what his eligibility status is, how many years of eligibility he gets from the NCAA. Like there's a real role for you to play next year on this group if you can add real weight. But yeah, nice player, really, really nice player.
High potential, good size, and another stat: 92nd percentile in contested shots made this summer. That's pretty impressive. So I think he could develop into something that's Carolina fans could end up loving